Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Anyways, I've been seeing a lot of people comment on Facebook or make YouTube videos saying, I go back to school in X amount of days, or school sucks so far. So I figured, I'd make a video about my thoughts on schooling. And you know what? I'm making this a two-part video, like divided into two videos. One's going to be about grade school up to high school, and the second's going to be about college. And the reason why I'm making the college one a separate video, I think you'll find out soon enough. We're also planning to have a live show tonight, so if you see this video, hopefully that falls through. We're trying to get Ryan to do it. If he doesn't do it, we're going to do it without him. Sorry, Ryan, if you watch this. But anyways, school, getting ready for school was the worst part, because it was kind of the promissory note that you were going to have to spend about $180. In my school, old school system's case, now I'm an old, I'm old now. I think actually today, in about an hour, or if in a few minutes, if I made this video an hour ago, I think today, August 20th, 2 years ago, was my first day of school. My final first day of school, I mean. I graduated in June 2015, so. But it was always easier in elementary school, because you could actually go to Walmart, at least in the county of Indiana that I live in, when you were a little kid, and you were in like intermediate and grade school, and there wasn't really like the specialized list that you got the first day of school, that says you need all this stuff. Because back in those days, you would actually use all the shit that you bought, you made your parents buy, depending on your situation. But I always remembered liking elementary and intermediate school in terms of that, because you could go in like 2 weeks before school at the local Walmarts. You could find your school system for that county, because all of them kind of agreed to do this with the Walmarts. And it was basically like a little kiosk. It was like, what's your school system? Okay, this is the school system. Now, what grade are you going in? So, if if I was in third grade at the time, you just pick the third grade. Well, I guess I can give the name. I mean, I'm not in it anymore. The third grade for Duneland School Corporation. And you'd have all the stuff you would need for that year. And the whole point was, go spend your rubles at Walmart, because they just jacked up the prices on all the school shit to make you pay extra, because, it's how business works, right? But middle school is when it got really annoying, especially when you're like me, and until about sophomore year, maybe freshman year. I was a constant target for bullies. My shoes weren't tied properly. Let's pick on them. I remember one day in 6th grade, for 3 days, this rumor was going around that I was gay because I didn't clip my fingernails. I wasn't. I mean, I was keen on taking showers and stuff, but at the time, I just really didn't pay mind to clipping my nails. I also had kind of long hair. It was like an inch or so, maybe, I don't know, that'd probably be more like 3 inches below my ear. And, they were calling me Austina because my name's Austin. And they'd make all these accusations that I'm transgendered and trying to become a woman, and the whole gamut. If anybody had long hair like I did in school and was a boy, in public schooling at least, you know the onslaught that of basically bullying that comes with that. But, I always hated going in because I didn't want to run into these people and them trying something in front of my parents, and my parents yelling at me because I didn't stand up for myself, and also being mad at me because I never told the school, and getting mad at me because, I basically didn't tell them that I was getting bullied. Now, I didn't anymore. I started telling them in intermediate school, hey, these assholes are bullying me, blah, blah, blah. And in middle school, the long hair thing, it wasn't attributed to me trying to become a woman. Now I was obviously a pothead because I had long hair. I was addicted to weed, so that was the new rumor. But anyways, you had to go in to get the scheduling. And you had to go walk around and find your classes starting in middle school. And I always remember hating it because of that reason. But, I'd say 6th grade year and 8th grade year were the worst years of my life. One because I did it to myself. And that's a story I'll share at a later date. In 8th grade, I was like the real-life Max Keebler. If you've ever seen that movie, it was kind of like a Max Keebler-inspired scheme. That's as much as I'm going to divulge for now. But 6th grade is just because I would come home in tears like almost every day because I'd get bullied. As time progressed, I kind of got over it and, don't really pay much mind to it. In fact, actually, someone who bullied me in 6th grade, speaking of 2014, 2 years ago, back in my junior year, around the time my first video was posted, I was in summer school for, government and economy, trying, just getting it out of the way so I could take stuff I wanted to take in senior year. And I remember this guy who used to bully me in intermediate school. He had the same class as me. He chilled out. He mellowed out. He was a pretty cool guy. This guy in high school, he'd actually bring in his pet sugar glider almost every day and just keep the sugar glider in his pocket. He was interesting. He was an interesting character. But he came up to me one day out of the blue after, because we'd have breaks throughout the day for the summer school session. And he came up to me and he's like, hey, I used to bully you a lot in intermediate school, and I want to say I'm sorry and I was a shitty person. Hope you accept my apology. Put him there. And I was just taken back because that was the only person. I had a few other people who used to bully me that same year in that class. I guess they kind of just forgot about it or something. I don't blame them, but it was just amazing. Sorry, I got a text. Amazing to me that someone that caused you so much hell at that age was able to own up to something. I was amazed and very happy. But anyways, you had to go walk around the fucking school, and then you got the schedule, and then you saw like, oh, you see the Facebook and the MySpace posts of, oh, I got this teacher, and then you have half of them saying, oh, so-and-so is a great teacher, and the other half saying, oh, so-and-so's a fucking bitch. You're gonna hate her. But the thing was, usually the people who said that were typically people I remember being like assholes in school that kind of deserved what was coming to them. But the strange thing is I always got along really well with the teachers who everybody unanimously hated. I had a German teacher named Frau Bartels, loved her. I had an English teacher sophomore year named Mr. Hayduck. Everybody hated him, but I loved him. If you talk to him, if you were like a class clown, but in a good way, like a productive class clown, like good, innocent sense of humor, at least at school. They liked you. These stricter teachers. So, I always got along with the strict teachers. Most of these other people, they usually tried to bend the rules and see where someone's breaking point was. And with these guys, we're talking, it's always the meanest teachers are the ones who have been doing it for like 35 plus years. So. But I think the reason why is because I've always been complimented from anyone from peers to teachers to just random people I don't know to family members. They always said, Austin, you're so mature for your age. It's amazing. You're so mature, you're so wise for your age. When I was younger. Now it's expected of me, but when I was 14, 15, 16... I got a lot of compliments. And my cousin, she does too. I think it might just be something in the family, at least my grandfather's side of the family, that kind of warrants these you're so wise for your age type of compliments. But, I always got along with them. The ones that everybody liked are usually the ones I disliked because I either saw them as A, flakes, B, annoying, or C, pushovers. The only one that everybody liked that I liked was a psychology teacher named Mr. McCoy, I believe. He was really animated. You could tell he really had the personality for teaching. You could tell he really had the passion for teaching children. High school, I really didn't like. In retrospect, I liked the social aspect of it. 2012, I knew Antonio. Here's a brief story. You guys know Antonio from the live shows, if you watch them. He's the guy with the curly hair. Sometimes he wears the leather jacket. The first time I truly met him was in 8th grade at the back of Mr. Cottle's history class. All the show members, Ryan, Antonio, and myself, we all had that class, and we all sat at the back left-hand corner of that room. I only sat there because of Ryan, but Ryan knew Antonio. Ryan and Antonio go way more back than I do with Antonio. But something happened. Ryan was like, at this time I was easy to anger. Like, you could get an easy reaction out of me when I was younger if you tried to annoy me. So Antonio would steal my books and book check me. Oh my God! One time I was on my knees begging to him in the locker room in 8th grade to please. I didn't do this, by the way. But he walked up to me, and we had this really aggressive, really moody, just really mean black kid in our class. His name was Deontay. Yeah, he had like some disease, right? And I think it like reduced his hemoglobin in his blood. He's basically living in dog years, if you catch my drift. He's got a very short projected lifespan. Antonio's ex-girlfriend dated him for like a week or two, and she told him, this is secondhand to me, so maybe I'm wrong, but she said, I think he's just mad at the world. I think Deontay's just mad at the world because he's going to die in his 30s probably. He's living in dog years. And he had like splotches of baldness in his hair that were big. So he'd shave, and we always, in retrospect, we look at it like he's chilled out a lot too, but we were thinking maybe he just was so angry as a young kid because he was mad that he knew he wasn't going to live a life like everyone else was. But anyways, we were in the locker room, And Antonio walks up to me after gym, because I had the same gym class as him, and we were basically sharing. We weren't sharing lockers, but my locker was basically right next to his. And he walked up to me and he said, "Austin." And I said, "What?" He said, "I'm gonna walk up to Deontay and tell him that you said he was a stupid nigger." And I was like, "No, Antonio, please don't, no!" And he was walking up to him, and I was sweating bullets, dude. Because I never said this, but I knew as soon as Antonio told him, he was going to push Antonio out of the way, fucking jump up in the air, do some Hadouken shit to me, probably punch my fucking head off, because this guy was a bodybuilder. He still is, but he was ripped in middle school. So I was afraid, like, my fucking head was gonna fly off and hit the back of the locker room. That was it. That was the end of my 14 years on Earth or something, you know. So, you know, Antonio, I disliked him a lot early on in our relationship. Until about sophomore year, when he started to calm down a little bit. And all I remember was him going like, he got in a fight with an old friend of his that he's not friends with anymore over some girl. And he came to me because I just got Xbox Live. So we really became friends over Minecraft. And my mom asked him, because he visited back in April. And my mom asked him, she's like, you know, I would have never expected my son to be friends with you, because I remember him talking so badly about you in intermediate or middle school. And he said, and she's like, well, so why did you like bully him so hard? And he's like, I wasn't bullying him because I didn't like him. I did like him at that time. I actually did consider him a friend at that point. I only bullied him because I always got the funniest reactions out of him. I mean, anymore, it takes a lot to piss me off anymore, but back then it didn't take much for me to start, I guess, losing steam or whatever. But high school, anyways, that wasn't the funnest time. I mean, the social aspect of that, we would fucking get drunk and run around the fucking town at 3 a.m. when we were 16. I remember one time the cops got called on us, so we were hiding in bushes. I actually have a life story about that. I'll link it in the description. I'm going to have to unprivatize it, though. But it was... There were good times outside of high school. Just in high school, a lot of the teachers liked me, but I didn't really like being there, because I always felt like, you know, I was just being myself and I was getting punished for it. There are some things I did that, you know, warranted punishment, but other things, you know, some teachers would just nitpick the shit out of me. And, you know, I finally kind of clicked it together around the time I was a junior. I was like, this, and I'd say like junior year and onward is basically how you guys know me. Actually, I have a few videos. This channel, right before I got my braces taken out, back in November 2013, this would have been a few weeks after my birthday. My 17th birthday. I made a few videos that I never posted that I might post up just for laughs, I guess. But you know, I just had teachers that would nitpick the shit out of me, and I kind of clicked it together at that point that it's really just a thing about obedience, and it's basically just the public school system has created a test-taking machine and you can't just solve a problem. You have to solve it this way, and you have to you have to memorize all this shit that you're never gonna use. It's just stupid. But yeah, that basically concludes it for grade school and high school. I'll have the link in the description to that life story. Probably make a comment with that link too. But also, stay tuned for the college half of this. It's a lot shorter, and I think it's got a heavier message to it. But anyways, that's about it, YouTube. Peace out.